Good evening everyone and welcome to the Trackstars Racing Series YouTube channel as we are live for round 7 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series, live from Laguna, Seca Raceway for the California Sprint. Joining me tonight is my co-commentator and Spud P666. Good evening Spud, how are you doing today?
Evening. Jarman, he could say co-commentator, but he could also say your rival for the main series later on this evening.
Yes, that is very much true.
So, yeah, great to be back here in the commentary box, ladies and gentlemen, where, yes, we are bringing you live for round 7 here at Laguna Seca, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, as it's known, as we start getting ourselves ready for our 8-minute qualifying session where Xylon 96 leading the way for his first lap, coming up towards the turn 1, which is a little sweeper before he come braking hard into turn 2 to the Andretti hairpin, trying to find that optimal line that he can get maximum power out of on exit, coming towards the infill section where this was built back in 1988 to suit FIA regulations, where Formula 1 was actually proposed as an idea to race for the United States Grand Prix back in that era, but unfortunately got overruled and Phoenix, and a street circuit down in Phoenix, Arizona, was known to be host of the USA Grand Prix, as he's coming up towards the kick just before turn 8 Rahal straight before the infamous corkscrew, Jarman, where in these cars with these powers can catch people out.
Yeah, it's certainly a tough one. You can, especially after last week when we've gone from the Formula cars light and agile and easy on the brakes, and going into the heavier touring car, it's certainly much harder to pull them up and you have to adjust your braking points to suit.
And Xylon rounds up the final corner. As we do say, Xylon 96 Toll Mashbuds Racing is second in the championship, only 74 points behind Little Blacko in the RoboSport Nissan. As he's coming up across the line, he's got himself a 1:13.6. What does his teammate behind JMX do? He's been looking quick early in his practice session. He's just a few points down. Coming for you, has moved up into third place. So at the moment, so far, early days, but it is the Mashbuds 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, it's looking good for the Mashbuds team, although we're sort of waiting for guys like Little Blacko to do their lap as well, and I know he's on his out lap now, so he'll be one to look out for when he does get going.
Exactly. As we see Xylon coming through, he's just gone purple on his in that first sector as he's coming up towards the kink on the Rahal straight. This corner is very crucial. As you see there, you just get a little bit of dirt there, so that can cost a driver's confidence coming up towards the corkscrew.
Yes, I'm just looking at the top 5 at the moment. You could say it's nearly 5 Mashbuds races.
Exactly, yes. All dominated. So far as a 5 Lexus front 5. So it just kind of puts you back just what happened earlier in the V8 supercars at Tail and Bend, where in race 10 they had 5 Mustangs setting up the front row. So it could become a thing, but in the game. But as Xylon comes through the line, 12.7, that's a great start to his flying lap. What is his reserve teammate Saltash Racer doing? He's right in behind the rear wing of Devlin Calypso. He puts himself up into third place.
Yeah, good lap so far. Let's see what Little Blacko is doing at the moment. Didn't come up with a split there, so might not be looking to go to the top this time around as we comes to the final corner, turn 11. Slides it in just a little bit, nice power out on the exit, and just runs across that curve as he comes across the line now. That's a 1:13.0.
Only 5th place for Little Blacko, so a little bit of struggling there for Little Blacko, but I'm sure he's going to have a few extra kilometers down in his pocket and a few extra tenths that he can get towards the on pole position. He's only going to find 3.327 tenths per second, so it won't be hard at least for Little Blacko to claw that back.
Just as we speak, he's gone slightly up on the first sector on Xylon's time, so that might have just been a build-up lap there, and this might be the one where he aims to improve and maybe push the limits a bit more.
As he's coming up towards the infamous corkscrew, was very notorious in the Formula Trackstars and the TSF2 series, but in this series as well, these guys are handling the conditions very well. They're managing to handle that corner very nicely, as Little Blacko just up on his personal best, but not for the fastest lap, as he has to negotiate a lap car as coming up towards the final corner. His teammate Mickey's 1, 2, 3, but as Little Blacko comes through, oh, just gets a little bit sideswiped there by Benja, but is that going to compromise his best lap time? Yes, it does actually. So the little bit of a hindrance from Benja GLR 19, but as we see Rugworth move up into first place there for VL Racing, so he looks like he's tucked in behind coming for you, so he's using his slipstream very wisely.
Yeah, and he's just gone nearly 2 tenths up, although that
Ooh,
little moment
there's
going to cost him some time.
Absolutely, but so far we're leading the way with Lexus cars, so it's a great start for all Lexus drivers.
Yeah, very much so. They're looking very strong around this tight little track, and maybe they've cured their understeer issues that have been discussed so widely amongst the community, so maybe especially MSR have sorted this out, and they could be ones to watch not only throughout this but also in the main series as well later on.
As Rugworth comes up towards the final corner, I'm not so sure if this will be an improvement, but he's only got a few more minutes to go before he builds up for his final lap. He's only going to have possibly one more run for that, so it's going to be all or nothing for Rugworth. Hopefully that lap was a bit of a cool down lap before he goes all hell's bent. But right behind him, Little Blacko, does he improve? No, he doesn't. So he's struggling. He's on the back foot, Little Blacko, and a newcomer to the TS2 series, Magical Wax in the Honda, has put in a great showing for the Honda NSX. Only 2 Honda NSXs tonight, Jarman, for Magical Wax and Benjo GLR 19.
Yeah, so I'm going to imagine that they'd be working together as he gets a bit squirrely there coming out of the final corner. That's an outlap, so be compromising his time on the start of the lap just a bit. So we see him go through turn 1 now, hugs it nice and tight between that double apex, gets the Honda all sideways coming out the corner as he gets on the throttle. Just
trying to avoid all those sausage curves on the outside especially in these cars. Once you hit the sausage curve, your car's going to feel so much different. It's going to be so light in the air, you won't be able to control it so much.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough track to negotiate, especially with the sausage curves on the outside of the track and also on the apexes as well. It's certainly a deterrent to trying to improve your time by taking a bit of liberties with the track limits, and very much catches you out and spits you out the other side.
I cut you off there. Like, Little Blacko has just come through the checkered flag, and he's actually improved himself up into second place. So there was an actual bank of laps that Little Blackos was setting, but he managed to get the final run, the near perfect time, just to be just right behind Rugworth. But what has Xylon got in the left in the tank? He's right there in third place for the Toll Mash Buzz Racing, right behind, I don't know if that's a Devlin or Scala 02's slipstream, but he hopefully doesn't get compromised through that. Oh, as Devlin runs a little bit wide there, so he's going to be plaguing Xylon's run, and he's actually up! Oh, he's actually got hindered there by Scala or Devlin, and that has ruined Xylon's chance to actually claim pole position there.
Yeah, definitely a tough one, I think. Scully might be on, not Scully, Devlin Calypso might be on a lap of his own, so...
Oh, but that has definitely cost Xylon time there after he got caught up there through Devlin Calypso's being blocked in the way. So a very unfortunate thing for Xylon, but I guess that's one thing for sure, that he does have the race, that he has got the pace to keep up, at least with Blacko and Rugworth.
Yeah, definitely going to be a close between those first 3 come the race, and should give us some exciting racing to watch, that's for sure.
Absolutely. And I'm actually wondering, do we enter with 14 people or 15? Because I can't remember, because I feel like we're missing somebody.
14, and then the 15th in the room is me.
Okay. Lovely. Alright, and as we get ourselves ready for our first race here for the California Sprint in Monterey, California, where we are here live for round 7 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series. It is Rugworth for VL Racing against Little Blacko Robosport versus Xylon 96. As we come approach and see those lights, they're going to be waving the green flag very soon. And lights out, green flag racing, and it's a great start for Rugworth. He has to come and chop into the second and to the inside. But as we see there, Xylon's actually got a better start from the second row of the grid, and he's going to make a initial move on Rugworth. And as we see JMX right behind and Saltash all vying for position, but it is Xylon 96 leading the way into 32, followed by Rugworth and JMX almost up into third place. He is into third place, and Little Blacko is getting caught out there with Saltash and Magical Wax rounding up the top 6. And as we see Robbo Sport back down there got caught up in an incident as we catch a replay. What happened to him? Did he get caught? He did get caught there by Beast Racer 3993 there. So, and his teammate as well.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of contact there between Beast Racer and Robbo Sport. And be interesting one that might be something for the stewards to look at a little later.
Unbelievable scenes. Both Robbo Sport cars not having the great start in race 1 of the TS2 California Sprint, but one guy that's leading the way and had a perfect start. Stylon 96 leading the way for the total smash spuds with Rugworth right behind him in second, JMX in third, but Little Blacko is just trying to keep a cool head, and we know when Little Blacko gets into a rhythm, he will start to make overtakes.
Yeah, and one surprise rounding out the top 5 is Magical Wax in that Honda. He's doing an excellent job after lap 1, and certainly putting himself up there at the start of the race.
And he's got a very experienced driver in Saltash Racer right on the back of him. But seriously, Little Blacko, he's made a few little twitches there, but that opens the door for Magical Wax to be up into 4th place. Yes, it does. How about Saltash? I know Little Blacko's going to have some dirty tyres, and as Saltash goes to the move, and he actually takes out Magical Wax there. So I wonder what's going to happen here. Will Saltash have to back off and let Magical Wax through? As we might have to see that happening on the Rahal straight, but that was a little bit too ambitious there for Saltash.
Yeah, I do agree that he had a go at getting past Little Blacko, but yeah, probably a bit too ambitious there, diving down the inside and just collecting Magical Wax. So another one for the stewards to look at a bit later, possibly.
Oh, geez, Jarman, I thought you and the stewards would have had a great time of having an easy race, but it looks like you've got 2 incidents to look at so far.
Yeah, certainly going to be a tough time during the week and post race looking at incidents if they do get reported.
Exactly, but we see Saltash actually moves himself up into 4th place, so it's still a bit of a question mark over his name and whether he should let Magical Wax pass, but he knows that if he does that, he's going to lose the spot to Little Blacko as well. So I'm probably sure he's going to wait it. As JMX runs a little bit wide there, just gets caught on the gravel. Oh, it's very slippery out there, Jarman.
Yes, that's an easy corner to run wide on, and I think we're going to see a fair few of that across the entire night between not only this in the TS2, but also in the main series as well. I'm sure a few drivers are going to be pushing the limits and running off into the dirt.
As we look down towards the rest of the grid, we see Budsy up into 7th place for the Vision Video and Gaming Lexus, who brought out a stunning livery for the Vision Video and Gaming for the Blue Moon Bay 500, and Budsy 76 is running a great race so far, just keeping his nose clean. And he's got Coming For You right behind him, but no threat so far.
Yeah, it's definitely a great looking car, and of course Coming For You is definitely no slouch, so Budsy's doing an excellent job to be up in 7th spot at the moment.
Absolutely. I wonder what that text was on the chat. I didn't get to see that, unfortunately, because my hand's a little bit blurry. But nonetheless, Coming For You is right behind. Mickey's has actually moved up into 9th place. As we look down towards the grid, I would think as well, Devlin Calypso is actually in the top 10, so great showing for Devlin, with Beast Racer 3993 getting a little bit of an argy-bargy with Robbo Sport, but he's up into 11th place with Scaleo 2, another one of the Nightmare Racing Team drivers, with an all-Belgium team in the Nissan GTR, as Benjo's round up in 13th with Robbo right down in 14th. So a lot of work for Robbo to do in race 2, but hopefully he can keep a clean nose come the beginning of race 2.
Yeah, this might just be a bit of a drive to consolidate as many points as possible for Robbo Sport.
Actually, Jarman, I will cut you off there. Jump to the front. We do see Xylon has actually lost the lead to Rugworth. Yes, he has. So I wonder what's happened here. I wonder if Xylon must have got caught out. It must have got caught out in the corkscrew, or even before the corkscrew.
Yeah,
so
we've missed
we did play up this part where the corkscrew and the kink before the Rahal straight will catch people out as we go side by side between the teammates, but this is not giving Xylon any confidence whatsoever.
Yeah.
He's lost a lot of momentum here as he was a comfortable lead ahead of Rugworth. Is actually now right behind, challenging his teammate for second place. Yes, he does get that spot as J-Max does run a bit wide, so a little bit of inconsistency in between the Mash Buds Racing camp.
Yeah, a few mistakes creeping in there, and although it looks like Xylon's now regained his composure and he's certainly looking to press on and build that gap. Oh no, there's JMX!
JMX has run a little bit wide there as you catch a replay. I wonder if he just got a clip on the gravel trap there, but I'm wondering that between the total Mash Buds Racing drivers, they're struggling in the race one.
Yeah, could just be pushing the limits a bit too hard, and
probably just, and he managed to save that so well. He saved that car so well that to actually not get it rotated around. So, all credits to JMX. He's actually back up into fourth. So, was Little Blacko's having mistakes as well. So this is off the charts, and he's actually going off at the corkscrew. Wow, Jarman, we are missing out on a lot of action here. This is absolutely unbelievable scenes we're seeing for race one. We've only got 2 races to go.
Yeah, this race has gone wild at the moment.
Absolutely unbelievable, unpredictable. So hopefully they don't get to show. Hopefully a guy like Rugworth doesn't make mistakes like this and be like, I want to join the party, but I want to join the party in race victories rather than having moments like that.
Yeah, looking at, although I think he just lost a second in that corner there. I'm not sure, I might have just missed it while looking at some of the comments on the YouTube screen, so might have run a bit wide there somewhere. So hopefully in the last 2 laps that are coming up, he can still manage to hold on to this, but I'm sure Xylon will be giving it 100% trying to close down that gap.
And he is. He's actually taken off at least 4 tenths there, and he's pushing the limit of his Lexus, trying to close up towards Rugworth. But look at that gap where Xylon was actually leading the way. But look at the gap to 3rd place. It is absolutely monstrous. And look who's leading the way. It is Magical Wax in his Honda 63, leading the way into 3rd place with JMX right behind him. So not a bad start for your debut race in TS2.
Yeah, definitely a very good one. Even though he got caught up in that incident between himself and Soltash Racer, and I think it was Little Blacko, if I'm correct, was involved with that as well, but not that Little Blacko did anything wrong, but yeah, certainly recovered from that and kept his nose clean and sitting in 3rd at the moment, so he'll be hoping to hold on to that podium position.
And he's doing really well as a debut driver in the Honda. So our main Honda driver in the TS2, DHuso14 for CP Motorsport, is unavailable here. So Magical Wax is leading the way for the Hondas with Benjo rounding up the rear of the field. But as we see Xylon actually looking to get closer, and he's actually going purple. So I wonder if it's too little too late, but it gives him a bit of confidence come towards race 2 that he knows that he's got the pace to win overall victory.
Yeah, definitely. It's always good to put those fastest laps in, and certainly makes you feel a bit better about yourself heading into the next race, knowing that you're more than capable of being fast.
As we do see Xylon getting closer, but we're on the final lap, ladies and gentlemen, for the final time. They're rounding up the Andretti hairpin. Is JMX going to make a move down the Andretti hairpin? No, he doesn't. He decides to stick back and wait for the opportune moment, possibly down the corkscrew or even beforehand. So he's got Little Blacko right behind him, so no pressure on you, Magical Wax. You've got top drivers in JMX and Little Blacko putting the pressure on you for that final podium position.
Yeah, as they come through turn 4 now, and Magical Wax just placing it in all the right spots at the moment, but he's certainly got 2 fast drivers. He's going to have to work hard to hold off. He's running a bit wide there.
Little bit wide there for Magical Wax, so JMX will have to stick tight because he might have an opportunity to come down towards the corkscrew. But what about Little Blacko? He's got a lot closer to JMX there. I wonder if he's going to make a move. Yes, he does. Oh, he doesn't actually. He actually managed to squeeze onto that brake pedal. But as you see, coming up towards the final corner for the first time in Trackstars Touring Car Series in TS2 division, we do see finally a Lexus driver taking the line honours, and it is Rugworth of VL Racing taking the line honours and victory for the Lexus. As we do see JMX actually do make that move for 3rd place. So it is an all Lexus podium, and then Soltash is going to come right through it, leading up towards the final end of the lap. I wonder what happened there with Magical Wax as he went from podium to 6th place.
Just have a quick look at the replay here, and Little Blacko makes a move down the inside.
Oh, it's just a little bit aggressive there for Little Blacker, but I guess it's rubbing his racing, but Magical Wax just didn't defend hard enough. I think just that exit that he got out of the corkscrew really compromised his initial exit run there. And as we do see, rounding up towards the round at the back of the grid, Scarlet 02's had a little bit of an issue there, coming up towards the second last corner out of all things. So yeah, so he just runs a little bit too aggressive. He knew he didn't have to do that because it is the last lap. And Benjo rounding up the final 14 for what was a great race, Jarman. But no one can take the victory away from Rugworth. Taking out the victory here at Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series. The first win finally for the Lexus driver.
Yeah, very well earned win there for Rugworth, and he's been sticking at it all season and come close in a few races, and it's really good to see him finally rewarded for all his efforts.
Not wrong there. So great result there for Rugworth and for his independent team. So great showing for him. As we run through the grid, we do see it is Rugworth that took out the victory ahead of Xylon 96, who was devastatingly close to getting that victory, but just got caught out, possibly on the gravel trap leading up towards the Rahal Straight. But with JMX fighting and clawing just to try and find a way past Magical Wax, he did it on the fun. Must have done it after the corkscrew there to get 3rd place, with Little Blacko making an aggressive move for Magical Wax into 4th place, with Soltash rounding up the top 5. So 4 Lexus drivers in the top 5 there. Little Blacko splitting them with Magical Wax in 6th place, Budsy for VVG Racing in 7th place, Mick Hees climbing all the way back up into 8th place, so a great recovery drive from Mick Hees after what was a lap 1 kerfuffle, with Coming For You in 9th, Beast Racer rounding up the top 10. With Devlin and Scale, our 2 Belgian drivers in 11th and 12th, with Robert in 13th, who has a lot to do come towards the Race 2 and Race 3, with Benjo rounding up the final 14 cars. So, a lot of talking points there, Jarman, about that. So as we start looking through the chat, like the in-game chat, definitely a lot of contact, biff and budge for that podium position.
Yeah, certainly a very interesting race to say the least, and a few bits of contact here and there, and some good passes as well. We should just focus on the negatives. We should definitely look at some of the positive moves there that we saw during the race, and yeah, some good racing all around, I reckon.
Exactly, it was great racing. It's just a little bit of contact between some drivers here and there, but I think overall it was a great showing for at least for our top drivers up in towards the top 6. So fantastic racing, and very unlucky there for Xylon 96 to get caught out, as he had a massive lead ahead of Rugworth and JMX, but only to be down in 2nd place. I guess in a way you have to consolidate with a podium, and you have to be very happy with that.
Yeah, that's definitely right.
And as we get ready for race 2, ladies and gentlemen, we will take a couple of minute break before our drivers have a bit of a bathroom break between race 1 and race 2, but we will bring you the action for race 2 here at the California Sprint, live for Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series. So stay tuned for race 2 coming up. And as we get ourselves ready for race 2 here at Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series, we have drivers off the track getting their cars tuned up and set up for race 2, coming up very shortly for the California Sprint, where we are live here at Laguna Seca, our second week at Laguna Seca, because our final week next week is going to be for our Endurance Series coming up in the following Sunday, where we will take the legendary LMP cars, Toyota versus Porsche, and all our GT cars around this brutal 3.2 kilometer circuit where cars will be having to be tuned at the very best, and it's going to be very hard for cars to overtake the LMP cars to overtake the GT cars, so it'll be all up to the driver to learn where to place the car, especially in the GT class.
Yes,
but as we get
definitely going to be a tough one, I reckon, and I definitely think it gives the old American Le Mans Series vibes, racing at Laguna Seca, and it's good to see an American track on that tour as well.
And so far it's been a really great series. So we've had 2 different winners in LMP class, but one class that's been dominated has been your team, Jarman. You and Justin 930, you guys have been racking up the W's for the first 2 rounds, but round 3 around this track, I'm not so sure if the Aston's going to be the favourite to take line honours, but I guess time will tell.
Yeah, I think probably the Porsche runners are probably going to be the favourites at this track. It's a much more technical circuit, and the lightness and nimble Porsche will be certainly one to watch there, I reckon. If they get some good drivers in the cars, they'll certainly be a threat.
Yeah, and great drivers such as the Gridline Racing entry, where we have Benjo, GLR19, and his team boss, in a way, GLR Scotty, leading in 1 Porsches, and then CP Motorsport will bring out another Porsche, but who will fill that seat, time will tell as we get ourselves ready for race 2 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, race 2 for Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series, where it is Rugworth, our previous race winner, in first place with Xylon 96 and JMX right behind, and Little Blacko in 4th place. So it's all about the start again, because Rugworth had a bit of a shocker, but Xylon had a flyer.
Yeah, it's certainly we'll be looking for Xylon on the start of this race, and coming from the front row of the grid, maybe he'll be a bit further out in front as we get underway in this second race of the TS2 California Sprint. And Rugworth gets a decent start, but Xylon moves it alongside and looks like he's going to take the lead into turn 1 here. There's contact between the first few cars, and it pushes Rugworth wide and down in the 6th spot as we head into turn 3 now. Saltash Racer running in 2nd, Magical Wax up to 3rd after that good first race, and JMX sitting in 4th, and Little Blacko round out in top 5.
A great start, as we did see there. Magical Wax had to lift off there. He actually lifted off to give JMX back to spot, so I wonder if something happened at the restart at the beginning of the race. Little Blacko's looking to try and find a way to get past Magical Wax, but just can't find a way. It's very near impossible to make an overtake unless you have a car right up on your left side door panel. As it's coming down towards the corkscrew, we do see Little Blacko and Rugworth coming neck and neck between each other, but Rugworth has to sit right behind, but leading the way again. Once again, it is Xylon 96 ahead of teammate Saltash Racer, and JMX rounding up a top 3 Lexus, but rounding up a top 3 Total Mash Spuds Racing, with Magical Wax up into 4th place, Little Blacko in 5th, with Rugworth in 6th, and coming for you has actually made great progression after his last race in 7th place, with Mick Heege right down in 8th place. As we look to see Little Blacko starting to make a move on Magical Wax. No, I actually didn't think he was going to make the move, but I think Magical Wax went a little bit too wide there. And Little Blacko inherits 4th place, and now he's got a mission to catch the Toll Mash Spuds Racing Lexus cars right up ahead of him. As Rugworth looks to make a move on Magical Wax, no he doesn't, so he has to sit pretty right behind. but he looks like he's close enough to make a move down towards this corner. Magical Wax is placing his car in the middle of the track, but Rugworth is going to get that move stick? No, so he has to stick right behind. So lots of action in the midfield, but one team leading the way. It is the Mash Buds Racing in the tall Mash Buds Racing Lexus. Magical Wax just runs a bit wide there, and Rugworth has to come right behind. But we did see Saltash drop a little bit there, so Saltash and Little Blacker are coming to blows, coming towards the end of lap 2.
Yeah, it looks like the gap's closed up a bit more than we expected there. So we've got Saltash Racer rounding out the podium. Little Blacko looking to make a move. Is that Magical Wax?
Was that Magical Wax there? I did see in the background. We might catch a quick replay of what happened to Magical Wax, but he looked like he was all crossed up. I wonder, did he get contact? Did he get hit by something? Did he actually get hit by Rugworth? Only time will tell. Rugworth runs a little bit wide there. No, he did it all on his own. Oh, it has come to cruel blows for Magical Wax, who was having a great time in his first race, but race 2 is not favouring him whatsoever. So very unlucky, and as in the Honda itself, a very unstable car. As we do see, Little Blacko has actually moved up into 3rd place, making the move stick on Saltash Racer 83 into 4th place. Yep, perfect corner right towards the Andretti hairpin, right up onto lap 3. So we only got not even halfway, but Little Blacko still having a sniff. As we see Saltash run a little bit wide at the back, then he's actually had his fun as well.
And there's
JMX as well. So L Mash Buzz Racing Lexus drivers are having mistakes and problems. JMX and Saltash Racer synchronized spinning between those two. Oh, it's just all about pushing that little bit too much towards that corner. That corner is very underestimated on how much you can push, but my goodness, it's caught out JMX and Saltash Racer in one hit. It looks like JMX is coming into the pits. Has he copped damage? Is there an actual route setting where it's actually got heavy damage?
I'm not sure whether he's just put off by the fact that the engine damage is there and hasn't decided to wait it out and rather just headed straight to the pits, and might have been a smarter move to wait it out and let the damage go away rather than taking a lengthy pit stop.
But all of this has promoted. Look, if you look up into 3rd place, coming for you, 194, who was nowhere in race 1, has actually clawed his way up into 3rd place. But as I do say that, Rugworth has actually taken that position. He himself has moved up to 3rd place as we catch a replay of Rugworth making a stick move and a solid move on coming for you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of contact there, but I think that will be put down as Rubbins Racing. There's just a slight little touch between the two, but otherwise... Oh no, and Rugworth's made a mistake as well.
Oh, he's made a mistake coming up towards the corkscrew. What has happened here, ladies and gentlemen? Has he broken too deep? He actually, I'll tell you what he has done.
I think there's contact.
There is contact. I thought he ran a little bit wide, but it is actual contact between Rugworth and coming for you. So misjudgment breaking there between those guys. But if you look up ahead, I think 3rd place is very much cursed because now Mick Hees has inherited 3rd place. So nobody wants to take 3rd place because it's a danger zone. It's a danger number.
Yeah, nobody wants that final podium spot.
No, exactly, and it's all going to come down to Mick Hees versus Coming For You versus Saltash Racer, who's actually recovered very nicely up into 5th place. But we see Robbo Sport has actually come down from 2nd last place up into 6th place, with Budsy still in 7th, and Beast Racer 3993 making his way up into 8th place as well.
Yeah, so wow, we see Saltash Racer make a move for 4th place on teammate Coming For You, and looks like Robbo's just gaining up on this group here as well, so definitely don't rule him out of the podium conversation.
Oh, as we do say that, Coming For You just runs it a little bit too deep on that little bit of AstroTurf, as we see Saltash making a mistake, and well, don't tell me 3 wide through this corner, surely not, but I did see Coming For You go a bit wide, and he has. Somebody must have pushed him off there. I wonder if he got a little bit too much side-by-side action with Robbo Sport, and Robbo just didn't give him much room towards the end.
Yeah, it looks like Robbo's hit that curb and just pushed wide a bit and gone into the side of Coming For You, so very unfortunate there for him.
Very unfortunate for Coming For You, but like I've been saying, nobody wants to inherit 3rd because there's a lot of battling going and nobody wants to get on the podium. Everyone's just to fight for keeps.
Yeah, although at the moment it's now a battle for the top 5 between, well, Budsy, Robbo and Beast Racer here, so...
Oh,
And
as you
Budsy's
did
got
say
that
that,
curb in
Budsy
a
just
bad way.
hit the curb at the wrong time, and Robbo inherits 5th place there. So I think your camera work today is always just been a bit of a hit target. It just reminds me of the Cars 2 scene, the Pixar movie Cars 2, where they have the laser gun, and as soon as you focus it on one driver, bang, there's an explosion.
Yeah, I don't think I've been that fortunate, but a lot of replays going on to find the action here, so...
Absolutely, but as we look ahead, look at Xylon 96 charging away 8.8 ahead of Little Blacker, so he's been keeping a clean nose and he's been focused and wanting to get that win. So what could have been a race win for Xylon 96 in the first race, it's definitely looking like most likely it's going to be a victory for race 2.
Yeah, unless something drastically goes wrong in the last few laps.
On. Did he just... Oh, it's a commentator's curse on Xylon 96. What is happening in race 2, ladies and gentlemen? We are having a lot of mismatches and calamities and everyone making tiny errors. I hope this is something not to come for the main series later on this evening.
Yeah, I certainly hope so as well, although in the case of me, I hope that I'm not the one making all the mistakes and just keeping it clean.
Absolutely. But as I did see, Little Blacko is actually now 5 seconds behind, so this is a time for Little Blacko to think about if he can catch Xylon 96 or if it's actually worth just sticking out for 2nd place, but know for a fact that you've got the race pace to catch up to Xylon for the final race.
Yeah, it might be one where you... Well, in Little Blacko's case, I'd say to maybe push and see what can happen. And maybe Xylon might be under a bit of pressure that he knows he can't make a mistake and it might push him into a mistake. I've got to say, this race seems like one of those, I'll call it like basketball games where the players just keep running back and forth down the court and no one actually scores a goal.
Exactly, that's crazy. It's just, and now we see Beast Racers actually having a great performance up into 6th place. So all the calamities from the top drivers such as JMX coming for you and a few others, and even Budsy had a few errors himself. But we now see Scarleo 2 has actually inherited 9th place, so that's a great result for Scarleo 2. I wonder how far down JMX is, and we had to talk about Magical Wax that missed the unfortunate sight we had to see for Magical Wax, where he actually spun his car around up into the 2nd last corner at the end of the 2nd lap. So as we come around towards our final few corners here, Xylon 96, no one's been able to touch him. Been making a couple of mistakes here, but he's kept a clean nose, and he's going to round up the final corner to take his first victory in the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series. It is Xylon 96 ahead of Little Blacko in 2nd place with Mickey's rounding up the podium. But so far it is 2 for 2 for Lexus, for the Lexus RCF 2016 model GT 500, where Mickey's, take a bow, Mickey's running a clean race for him, up into 3rd place with Saltash in 4th, and Robbo Sport rounding up the top 5 with Beast Racer having a great result into 6th place.
Yeah, very strong run there from Beast Racer, as coming for you crosses the line in 7th, and then we've got Budsy in 8th and Magical Wax in 9th. So JMX has moved up into the top 10 on the last lap with Scully relegated 11th and Rugworth in 12th.
Yeah, so it's definitely a lot of talking points for this after this race, Jarman. We could talk about guys like Rugworth, JMX, Magical Wax, and a few others. Just very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate scenes that have occurred, ladies and gentlemen, where it's been a little bit chaotic, but it's actually been fun. And just to add to the top of the chaos, Benjo GLR 19 just putting on what summarises the event as he's trying to negotiate. I think he's just doing a bit of donutting just to show off a little bit.
Yeah. I hope he walks back and puts that brake marker back where it should be at the end of this.
As he rounds up towards the final for the checkered flag, Benjo GLR 19 takes 14th and the final spot on the top 14 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series, where it is one man that led the way from start to finish. Xylon 96 with a Toll Match Buzz Racing in his very distinct donut race attire there, so gone all yellow. So I probably should, maybe me as a team manager should put a donut on his car and just, you know, put the donut in front of the rabbit and just chase after it.
Yeah, well, in that case, maybe you need to make an MSR race suit for him as well.
we'll definitely have to get onto that as the weeks go by. But as we look towards the race results, it is Cylon96 taking out his first victory in Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series with Little Blacko in second. Bit of a biff and bargy race that one, but Little Blacko came through cleanly, as well as Mick Ease 1, 2, 3 up into the podium position. So that's a great result for Mick Ease, because he is actually right up in the top 5 of the championship. So this will definitely help him towards his charge up towards the top 3.
Yeah, it's very close between Mick Ease, JMX and D Huzo for that third place actually. So
absolutely,
might
and
be
a guy
one
like
to watch come the end of the round. It might be Mick Ease that jumps into the top 3 in points, depending on how JMX and him go in this last race.
As we did see, yeah, JMX is right down in 10th place, so a bit of an unfortunate and just a bit of a weird one jumping into the pit stop there, so a little bit strange, but anyway, regardless, he'll have to move on to race 3, as well as our other drivers rounding up that top 14.
It's certainly going to be an interesting race 3 with the order mixed up. Guys like Rugworth and JMX coming through the field.
Exactly, and it's just like, hopefully it's going to be like, hopefully it sets the tone for race 3 to be a cleaner race, but I don't know, it's going to be a little bit hard for our drivers to have a clean race towards the end.
Yeah, if the first 2 is anything to go by, I think we're looking at a wild race 3 as well. And just give a shout out to Mick Ease as well, making a comment on the YouTube comment section saying that he'll take the cursed 3rd spot.
Yes, it was a cursed spot there. Nobody wanted to take it, but you took it with ease, and that is a great result for Mick Ease 1, 2, 3 for the RoboSport Racing, who actually got 2 cars on the podium there. So great showing for, after what was a difficult race 1, they've tuned their cars up and put them on the podium position. So that's great teamwork from RoboSport. But what could have been teamwork for the Total Mash Buds Racing? They had at least 4 cars in the top 5 in those early few laps but just mistakes just kept on happening.
Yeah,
but anyway,
something to clean up for the 3rd race between the MSR guys.
Yeah, my Discord chat between the team has gone off as well, so just keeping an eye on that. I'm just trying to tell them, boys, just keep a cool head. You know you guys have the pace, and just keep it on the black stuff, keep it on the tarmac, and a result will come your way. Just try to avoid the gravels, and yep. And basically, we're getting ourselves ready for the final race of race 3 here for the California Sprint, round 7 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series. So that'll come up very shortly. And that shortly is right now, ladies and gentlemen. Not enough break for the commentators to have a bit of a breath in. So RoboSport has given the all clear, and we're getting ready for race 3, our final race for round 7 here at Trackstars Racing Series for the TS2 Touring Car Series. Myself, Nick, and Spud P666, and It's Racing Jarman Dallas in the commentary box, covering the final race after what was a chaotic race. Race 2, it was Cylon96 leading the way with Little Blacko in second, and Mick Ease 1, 2, 3 and third, almost forgot his name, and Saltash and RoboSport in the top 5. So what are we going to see at this race start, Jarman? Are we going to see another great start from Cylon?
You put your money on it, I reckon, that Cylon will get a good start, but who knows what's going to happen.
Let's get lights out, green flag racing, and it is a great start for Cylon96 as he's got that launch perfect. 3 races out of 3, and he's come out into the top position in first place. We did see Mick Ease run a little bit wide there on the gravel trap there, so from 3rd to 12th to 13th, that is definitely not a great start for Mick Ease there. So I wonder if he got a little bit pushed wide by either his teammate, looks like. Ooh, I don't know actually. I think he was trying to avoid a bit of contact there with Saltash, so very unlucky for Mick Ease there to be right down to 13th, as we do see a few cars leading the way, but it is Cylon96 leading the way from Little Blacko, with Saltash Racer actually making the podium. 3rd place was JMX looking to make a move on Saltash. What is JMX going to do? As teammates, he's let him go by, and just respectful racing between the teammates. So Saltash in 3rd, JMX in 4th, and Magical Wax making a recovery drive up into 5th place.
Yeah, plenty of action down the field as Coming For You and Rugworth battle it out through the corkscrew.
Oh,
The fingers are definitely
outside
getting a workout, switching from all the cameras and track positions, and we don't know where to look.
Absolutely, it's just like you want to switch cameras, and yeah, it's just action's going to happen as soon as you switch to it. But it looks like it's still Xylon and Little Blacko holding a bit of a narrow gap between each other, a few car lengths between. But what do I see back there? Budsy and Scarleo too, just having a bit of a come together there. As we might catch it, as we see a quick replay. Oh, you know what that is, Jarman? It is the ghosting that caught Budsy out. And what does that happen here? Yeah, oh, that is a bit unlucky there with the ghosting. So where we do, I think what Scarlett was trying to do, he was trying to burn off his penalty in the burn zone, and just Budsy just didn't know about it.
Yeah, that looked like a weird one. I'm not even sure if Scully actually got a penalty there, but it might be something to review post-race.
Absolutely, so a bit unfortunate for Budsy. He was actually having a great race 2, before he made a few mistakes. So he's being very consistent with his performance, Budsy, so for the VVG racing team. So it's a great showing from Budsy 76, but still Xylon is keeping a good margin over Little Blacko here, so it has to be clean racing, and this is the battle we always wanted to see, and this is the top 2 in the championship, ladies and gentlemen. Little Blacko leading the way on the championship, 700 and I believe it's 724. Yes, it is 724 with Xylon 96 on 650. So only 74 points difference between those 2 cars, and I think Xylon has actually got the upper hand so far after round 7.
Yeah, Xylon's definitely putting in some strong performances, and in the three-race format, it's a 1.5 race gap between Little Blacko and Xylon. So definitely be good for Xylon to get a few good results and start closing that gap up and make it a bit more interesting in this championship fight.
As we also have to mention our 2 drop rounds that will come into effect at the end of the Bathurst 1000 in October, as we see Rugworth coming up to make a move on Magical Wax. Does he let him go through? Yes, he does. So he lifts off a bit early, and Rugworth up into 5th place. Ooh, just puts a little bit of a tyre on the gravel there, so a bit unlucky for Magical Wax. Just caught the sausage curb at the wrong time, and Rugworth took the opportunity.
Yeah, I know Rugworth on that corner. I don't think he would have wanted to be another millimetre wider, or that would have been disastrous for him.
Not wrong there. This 11 turn circuit here at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca is definitely a challenging one for our drivers tonight. So for our TS2 drivers to struggle, I wonder if the same thing's going to happen in the main series, where we have actually introduced a new specification for our drivers in the Nissan team and the Lexus team and in the Honda team. So hopefully the new specifications that we are rolling out later this evening will actually make the cars a little bit more drivable for round 7.
Yeah, definitely be interesting to see what happens there, and whether it shakes up the order a bit or whether it remains the same again.
Absolutely. As we do see, Beast Racer was almost made a move there on Coming For You, but just Coming For You just has a better traction there, and he just stayed ahead. But I wonder if this gap between Xylon and Little Blacko has opened up or closed up a little bit, because J-Max, I doubt wouldn't be that far back behind Little Blacko. It's actually opened up between them, so J-Max was about the same basically between the top 3, so they're both keeping each other a few good car lengths, and all it is just one mistake, and yep, through you go.
Yeah, certainly the first 5 cars are all spread out very far, so looks like the biggest battle pack here is from 6th to 9th, from between Coming For You, Rugworth, Beast Racer, and then Robbo Sport tacking onto the rear and looking very threatening there as well.
And as the case for Rugworth taking the victory in race 1 and then having a bit of a shocking race in race 2 and now race 3 in 7th place, it just kind of shows just past performances. He has great when he's on the pace. He shows great performance as he's starting to lose position to Beast Racer 3993. No, he actually keeps 7th, but it's been a common thread for Rugworth where he's been showing some great performances, but just very inconsistent, at least in this championship so far.
Yeah, and it certainly shows, like with this format, that you have to be a fast car all night.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you're finishing races up the front, because a bad result in one race will mean you're starting at the back for the next. It looks like Beast Racer just ran wide there.
Oh, a little bit wide there, just caught the gravel there as we catch a quick replay. Does he dip a tyre? Oh no, he's actually missed the corner itself just before Rahal Straight, so he's actually gone way wide of that corner. So very unlucky for Beast Racer, who's been showing great performances, a highest P7 or P6 in race 2 for Beast Racer. So great showing for him, as we do see Rugworth actually make a move back on Coming For You. So Coming For You just drifts a little bit wider in that final corner.
Yeah,
so
Coming For You looks like he missed the apex completely there. So
yeah,
and it just opened the door for Rugworth to come by.
So I wonder what this means for Rugworth. So he's done a race now, he's taken a race victory, and he's race 2 and race 3 haven't been to the best of his performance. So what do you think Rugworth's going to take away from this rounds overall?
Hopefully he can take away that at least he knows he can be a race winner in the series. And certainly race 1 has proved that, and maybe for the in between the next races.
Sorry to jump in there, Jummer. I did see a quick flick of the order. Where is Xylon 96? He's actually dropped down a few positions.
Has he?
Yes, I just caught it as you were talking
there
about
we go.
Rugworth. Rugworth actually made a big spin there, coming up towards what was going to be the second last lap of the race. Oh, he's definitely going to be kicking himself there, Xylon 96. As Soltash actually comes through to 3rd place, inherits that 3rd place from Xylon 96. He actually dropped down to 5th, so what was going to be a great victory for Xylon, and we were praising him for possibly getting the upper hand of Little Blacko. He's actually taken a step back.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate for Xylon. He was looking like cruising to a comfortable win, and just one little mistake has seen it all unravel on him.
That is so unfortunate for Xylon 96. It looked like he was going to comfortably take a race victory here at the California Sprint, but like you've mentioned before with Rugworth, consistency is key, and you need to do it for 3 races.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you can't just have an off race and get away with it here. So now we look back towards the leaders, and Little Blacko and JMX are within a second of each other. So this race is definitely by no means done and dusted here.
Absolutely not. So it's all it's going to take is one little mistake for Little Blacko, and JMX might be able to take his first victory in TS2. But only time will tell. They've got one more lap to go as they negotiate the straight before they approach the end. Ready hairpin right up towards turn 2 for the final time. It is Little Blacko taking the lead away from Xylon 96, who he himself has actually moved up into the 4th place. What's happened to Soltash Razor? He's dropped down the order as well. He's down into 6th place. So a lot of crazy stuff happening here, ladies and gentlemen. So what is going on? California and Laguna Seca is a bit cursed. I don't know if these guys want to come back next week for the Endurance Series.
Yeah, that could be a very eventful 4 hours if this is anything to go by.
Absolutely. But Magical Wax, out of all the hard work, is definitely going to get a podium, and hopefully he can keep that podium position that he almost had in race 1, but now he looks like he's going to get into in the final race here at Laguna Seca. As Little Blacko has still got that margin just under a second between him and JMX, but he's just going to be a comfortable final few corners, and I believe it's just going to be a Little Blacko victory, Jarman.
Yeah, it's going to take a mistake here or a very incredible final 2 corners from JMX to do anything about it. As Little Blacko heads around the final corner now, gets that entry and exit nice and smooth, and gets the power down, and he'll come across the line to take race 3 victory in the TS2 touring cars, with JMX crossing the line in 2nd place. And here we go, Magical Wax will finally get that podium that he missed out on in race 1, with Xylon in 4th and Rugworth finishing 5th in the Lexus.
Yep, and rounding down the rest of the grid, we did have Soltash Racer who was up into 3rd place, as high as 3rd, is down into 6th with Coming For You in 7th. Robo Sport takes out 8th place with Beast Racer in 9th. Scarlet and Devlin Calypso will round out the top 11, with the guy in 12th place, Budsy, who had a bit of a unfortunate communication with Devlin or Scarlet, I can't remember who it was.
It was Scarlet,
just cost him. Yeah, and Mick Ease, Jarman, what could have been for Mick Ease? Well, starting in 3rd place, and he went all the way down, tumbling down to 13th place, just couldn't recover.
Yeah,
but one guy that didn't struggle, ladies and gentlemen, this man, Little Blacko in the Nissan. So finally a Nissan victory for the Robbo Sport camp in Laguna Seca. So Little Blacko taking out line honours for the final race. So we've had 3 different race winners in our 3 races tonight, Jarman.
Yeah, it's good to see some variety amongst them, and even though maybe it's not so much great passing and freeway battles, it was probably a bit more of mistakes from other drivers.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is something to come for the main series. I wonder if guys like yourself, myself and Deadpool and a few others might make a few little mistakes here and there, but we've got 3 races of 14 laps there, so a lot longer than what these guys have to endure.
Yeah, hopefully knowing that it's only it's 14 laps and it's a bit longer, we know that we've got a bit more time to sort ourselves out rather than pushing as hard.
Exactly, and as we look towards the race results, it is Little Blacko taking out line honours in his Nissan Robbo Sport Racing Motortech GTR, with JMX, another podium for JMX, so a great showing for JMX, being consistent all race, and just taking opportunities when they come available, and into second place, and Magical Wax 769 finally getting his podium position that he thoroughly deserved after that race 1 mishap, and Xylon 96, oh, Jarman, what could have been for Xylon 96 in 4th place? He could have been first at the end of the race, but obviously we won't know that.
Yeah, very, very disappointing race for Xylon there, and I'm sure he'll be kicking himself at the end of that.
And Rugworth has clawed himself back up into 5th place, so a little bit of work for Rugworth to do to keep the consistency, especially in the 3-race format, with Saltash having a bit of an off, I think it was, at the corkscrew, up and down into 6th place, with Coming For You in 7th, Robosport in 8th, with Beast Racer 3993 in 9th place, and Scully 02 rounding up the top 10, with Devlin Calypso, his teammate, and the top Belgium team in 11th place, with Budsy 76 in 12th, with Mickey's, a very substandard race there for Mickey's, a poor race for Mickey's 1, 2, 3, hopefully to one to forget, up into down in 13th place, with Benjo GLR 19 rounding up the top 14. And as we see drivers exiting the lobby, we do thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for what has been a very eventful night here at Trackstars Racing Series for our TS2 Touring Car Series. After round 7, it is Little Blacko that leads the way in the championship, with Xylon 96 close on his heels, but both have scored victories tonight, so the championship is definitely going to change. It's going to have a bit of an effect there, but who takes overall line honours, time will tell. But on behalf of myself, and Spud P666 and Jarman Dowd's It's Racing, we bid you farewell and a good night between us and TS2 drivers. Hopefully you guys can stick around and watch the main series coming up in an hour's time. But for now, and